Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back, everybody.
So, guys, I hope everybody is doing well. And we're looking at these numbers from Worldometer. And you see the number of cases of the plague upon the land.
We do, and I'm trying to get over that word, world-o-meter. It reminds me of like a 1980s something omatic.
Right?
Yes.
So you see, the number of cases, 273,999,136, that they are counting as cases of this plague upon the land.
Mm-hmm.
And so they tell us there's 5,361,511 deaths and 245,970,547 recovered. If we look at the population of the planet, you see that we have roughly 7.8 billion people on the planet. Billion. So this means, if you look at the percentage of people on the planet that have died of the plague upon the land, it's 0.0006. 0.0006. So no, it's not 1%. It's not a tenth of 1%. It's like, it's very small.
They're the ones telling us to look at the science. Look at the science.
These are just numbers, we're just giving it. It's definitely not like the Black Plague, which wiped out like a third of Europe.
No, not like that in the slightest. I mean, this is like a flea on the back of a dinosaur.
A very interesting flea, so to speak.
Yes.
And before we go any further, just making sure we're good. Okay. So we see that we have the court now allowing the dates for men of number 46. And, of course, we have to code everything. So if Smiling Joe is 46, you know who 45 is. Interesting to see that there was an article in the paper, too, that spoke of somebody that tried to go into T Tower, number 45's tower, and, wasn't allowed in because there is actually a date for a man to enter the tower.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious, was it not? And so the dates for men looks like they're going back in effect after, previous rulings said no, and even said that this is vastly overstepping constitutional limitations. So now here we go. This is Court of Appeals, and already there's been more, lawsuits filed. We'll probably just see, this ping pong game going on for quite a while.
They do that. These courts, they just drag everything out. They elongate everything. It's just really such a waste of time. But it's the game they play. It's the system they know how to work. So they work it.
Absolutely. And all we could say is that we should always just express our own opinion. Express what we know, what we've seen, what we've observed, what we've read, what we've looked into, what we've studied. Share. Don't be afraid to share. Don't close off your throat chakra.
Right. They want people to be afraid to share as they're trying to shut off our throat chakras.
Yeah.
It literally causes disease. So speak your mind, share your truth. Please don't back down from that. I mean, we came here to do something. We're here on a mission, and we got to finish it.
And I'm not going to say names because of the situation, obviously, with the media and everything, but the world has lost 3 people recently that have exercised their throat chakras by speaking up and expressing their opinions repeatedly, which their opinions run very, very contrary to the official line on things. And these 3 people are no longer with us. And I gotta just leave it at that for this. Maybe we could talk about it in a different venue, a little bit deeper, or maybe you want to look a little bit closer yourself, as there is alternative sources, and you can find things on Rumble, you can find things on Bitchute and Brighteon, and there's a lot to be uncovered. Let's just say, as unfortunately some people are covering up the remains of their loved ones that they've lost, coincidentally after pointing out certain things that could change public opinion. Surging cases bring 2020 a feel to the end of this year, as we are closing in on the end of 2021. And what will 2022 bring? Why does it feel like the world is bracing itself?
Well, because it kind of is. I mean, we've never seen such control measures be taken. And all of these laws that they have been putting into place are their little ways of getting closer to a means to an end to have total and complete control. And you can just feel it squeezing in on you.
Yeah, it's definitely, and as this says, it's a whole new animal. This is a whole new global animal, what we're seeing right here. And I think a lot of people are just floored by what's really and actually happening out there. So New York reports its highest single-day case total of the entirety of this plague upon the land. And I think, relatively speaking, New York is relatively high percentage-wise compared to other states with a certain thing that's out there. It's all about the dates for men, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And the sickle maker says a redefinition excuse me, guys.
Fully vaccinated is on the table. So they're going to redefine it, meaning they're going to keep making people do these extra things, even though it doesn't work. Obviously, they're going to keep making people do them. So what's the agenda here? We all know there's a much bigger agenda.
Yeah, so, how many will it take? That's just going to be obviously up for debate ongoing. And here we see this is RyanAir boss says things that would definitely rattle a few feathers, about people who who are not totally quote unquote up to date. You shouldn't be allowed in the subway, the London Underground. You shouldn't be allowed in a supermarket or your pharmacy or the hospital, etc., etc. The division in the world is just, I don't think it's ever been this severe, maybe since WW2 or WW1, or gosh, maybe we'd have to go back to another whole round of Kali Yugas.
Yeah, we might.
And meanwhile, you have Boeing suspending the dates for men, which this might change in a matter of days or a week. You just don't know. So they have suspended trying to enforce that. And meanwhile, you have some places like Canada, and here we have Ontario again. 50% occupancies are going to be the limit, and it's back to a lockdown scenario, basically, in many places as well. And we see it has begun. 103 of 9,000 that haven't gone on and kept up with the dates for men, so to speak. Marines discharged. Military begins to discharge upward of 30,000 active duty service members who are refusing. And so, interesting too, this is coming at a time when it looks more likely than ever that WW #3 could start at any moment. And meanwhile, one potential side is discharging vast numbers of its own military. Wow, that Trojan horse moment there.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, we see the PFI company there says that this whole thing could go on well into 2024. Geez, going into another whole election cycle, isn't it?
It's
And
almost like there's something to that for the election cycle.
interesting and weird side effects. Muscles can balloon in size as strange new side effects of the plague upon the land. The different types of muscle fibers, proportionately can balloon up as much as 60%. That's kind of crazy and kind of weird. And at the same time, they have cases of people that their muscle fibers atrophy, but don't think you're turning into Superman or anything if they balloon up, because ultimately it's not good.
It's just really kind of creepy that the muscle structure the muscle fiber is activating itself on a physical structure. I wonder if it's going to have a mind of its own.
This feels like genetic changes. This feels like DNA mutations, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really does. And this is the time of mutations in so many ways. Do you know what the leading cause of death among 18 to 45-year-old Americans is? Let's see if anybody got it. Think quick. Fentanyl overdoses. Not the plague upon the land. Well, this is a plague upon the land, too.
It is. It's a bigger one to me.
Why is this not like the headline, number one headline? It kills more 18 to 45-year-olds than suicide, the plague upon the land, and car accidents. And where do you think most of it comes from? The fine dining ware country is, a leading source of this. Again, it very, very much ties into the bigger theme.
Mm-hmm. It's just so sad.
I was thinking of a commercial, because we keep talking about Trojan horse.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
There was an infamous commercial.
There was. Yeah. Okay. We got it. We won't go any further.
Because I guess the Trojan word, and then I was talking about Superman, and it's like you put those two together. It's like, oh no, oh no.
We won't say any more, kids. Sorry.
As we're making this video at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Simply because. Yesterday we had to go do some things and be in some areas where we're exposed to a lot of energies. And, I'm just finding myself unable to tolerate being around certain energies. And again, I do think it does have to do with the, plague upon the land. And, neither Cindy nor I have been sick in any way, are affected by this plague upon the land. We've, escaped it the entire time, yet we feel the energy that's out there strongly. Being both of us strong empaths, it's like, the way I could liken it's like, going to the Lord of the Rings movies and seeing the eye of Sauron out there, and just like, it's like all of a sudden looking at you, this dark energy and force that's out there. Mm-hmm. Very much an entity, very much a negative consciousness out there that's roaming. Again, in biblical terms, it feels very much like that woe to you, O earth and sea. So global warming might give rise to, not again, the Z word. Mm-hmm. Zombie pathogens. When we were talking about this, now we just talked about this the other day, locked up in the permafrost and going to be released.
How it's the beginning of a really bad movie.
It is. I mean, how many, and when you go and look on, Netflix or Amazon Prime or anywhere, how many of the movies out there, shows, series, everything, is about zombie apocalypses, devastating viruses and things like that, mutations, superpowers, segregation of people, because some people are mutating into, these beings that are going to have superpowers, and others are persecuting them. You can't make this up. I mean, it's just everywhere.
It is. It's everywhere. It's in black and white. Everywhere you look, everywhere you read. So it's almost like they're kind of programming something.
But the thing that we've gotten is that there really is a basis in fact for this in some ways too. And today I made note of a person who was in the medical field, and when I looked at this person, to me, I mean, they looked like the Walking Dead. And I don't know if they were just having a bad day, or if it was something else, maybe even something else related to these particular dates that are out there for men and ladies.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, literally looked like a walking zombie to me. Like there was, and I could just see the energy field. It was loaded with gray. It was just covered in gray. So I know this person's not well, and this person's in a position of having great control over the health and welfare of others. Just to give you, for instance. So yeah, interesting times that we are in, to say the least, guys. And so we're going to leave this one at this. We want to thank everybody for your support at Ko-Fi and Patreon. We couldn't do it without you. Please do check out Medicinal Foods. I do still feel it is a good time to just kind of double check things and make sure you have enough supplies, because there's a lot of changes underway, and this is most definitely a tug of war. And it's swinging. It's a pendulum swinging one side then the other. So be as prepared as possible in every way, shape, or form. Try to get yourself outside the system. Again, try to work with others, wake up others. Please do make sure that you are subscribed to both channels. Share, share, share. We are also on Rumble and on Brighteon as well. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.